Derek Chauvin, ex-officer convicted of murdering George Floyd, moved to new prison after being stabbed. From the article, greater than Chauvin, 47, is now housed at the Federal Correctional Institution in Big Spring, a low-security prison, greater than he was previously held in Arizona at FCI Tucson in August 2022 to simultaneously serve a 21-year federal sentence for violating Floyd's civil rights and a 22.5-year state sentence for second-degree murder. Greater than the transfer comes nearly 9 months after Chauvin was stabbed 22 times in prison by a former gang leader and one-time FBI informant. The guy who stabbed him 22 times admitted he was trying to kill Chauvin and said he would have been successful if staff hadn't been so fast. Response times have a big effect on life and death. I don't think this is going to fix that problem. Solitary is probably the only safe place for this guy. Meanwhile, in Texas prisons, greater than it's torture. Brutal heat broils Texas prisons, killing dozens of inmates. https www.theguardian.com/us-news/article/2024/august/09/texas-heat-prisons- lawsuit. I don't care, to quote him. Police raid Andrew Tate's home in Romania as new allegations emerge involving minors. Him? With minors? I am shocked. Maybe the Romanians can keep him locked in a cage where he belongs this time. Not looking great for Tate. Hey Q people, we found one of those pedos you're always looking for. It's always the people you most expect. The worst part is there are hundreds of thousands of young men who idolize this absolute piece of shit. 5-time Olympian cyclist found dead in Las Vegas after choking on food. I almost choked to death on a piece of chicken eating a salad alone in my car in front of a grocery store. I started choking and couldn't breathe for what seemed like an eternity. Probably just a few seconds. And so I got out of my car and stood there for a split second trying to decide if I was going to make a run for the store to see if someone could help or look for someone in the parking lot. I couldn't see anybody in the lot and the store was pretty far away and I was starting to get lightheaded. And so out of desperation, I kind of performed a self-Heimlich by slamming myself full force down on the front of my car and I somehow managed to dislodge it. One of the most terrifying moments of my life. This was years ago, and my body still goes into a full-blown panic attack if I have even the slightest sensation of choking while eating. If you ever see someone struggling, choking, and they disappear into a bathroom or other private area, follow them to make sure they're okay. Many people get embarrassed in a public setting and remove themselves. Then things can get serious with nobody around. Removed. Rest in peace, Daniela. Choking to death while living alone is one of my nightmares. PSA steak is a big culprit for choking. Chew that shit, it's delicious anyways. One of the biggest killers of men who live alone is dying by choking on a piece of steak. So guys, and gals, make sure to thoroughly chew your food if you're living by yourself. Because no one else will be there to save you. Microplastics are infiltrating brain tissue. Studies show there's nowhere left untouched. I wanted brain plasticity, but not like this. We laugh at Romans with their lead-laced wine and plumbing. Joke's on us. Good, I need something to soak up the lead. Don't worry, some people were able to get obscenely rich, so it all balances out in the end. Take a blood test and have it tested for foreign chemicals. You would be amazed, horrified to learn how much has become a permanent part of you just by living and breathing. I had the test when I was in undergrad. They say the average used to be 30 foreign chemicals in the bloodstream due to the Industrial Revolution. Having been in the military and worked in machine shops and factories, I had nearly 200. Hooray cancer. The FDA needs to make up its mind whether Teflon is food safe or causes cancer. Teen girl sues Detroit judge who detained her after she fell asleep in courtroom. Worth noting for headline readers that the girl in question was visiting on a field trip and not a part of the proceedings. She'd also been sleep-deprived the night before. As well, as Goodman later told her mother that staff asked her to disrobe and put on jail garb. The teen took off her hoodie but refused to remove other garments. According to the lawsuit, once she had on the green jail jumpsuit, she was placed in an isolated holding cell and handcuffed. All this because she fell asleep during an authoritarian judge's boring presentation and because she had no sleep the night before because temporarily without a permanent home. This judge shouldn't be working after that stunt. Greater than *** in between hearings. King spoke with the group. According to video of his courtroom posted to YouTube, he took off his robe at one point, handing it to a young man who also sat in the judge's chair while King spoke. Eventually King noticed Goodman sleeping and yelled at her to wake up. But after he saw her sleeping again, he had her taken away. Greater than Goodman later told her mother that staff asked her to disrobe and put on jail garb. The teen took off her hoodie but refused to remove other garments. According to the lawsuit, once she had on the green jail jumpsuit, she was placed in an isolated holding cell and handcuffed. Goodman told her mother there was a camera in the room, but otherwise she was alone. Greater than about 2 hours after she was taken away, King had Goodman brought back to court. Video shows he stands, yells at her about being disrespectful, then asks her if she wants to go to jail. A defense lawyer King asked to stay to represent Goodman said the teen was tired and did not understand the seriousness of the situation. Greater than eventually, King asked Goodman's peers by a show of hands to indicate whether he should let her go or send her to jail. Amid nervous laughter, most agreed he should show leniency. According to the video, which has since been removed from YouTube, Greater than the lawsuit lists a litany of alleged violations of constitutional rights. That includes unreasonable search and seizures, being detained without due process, being compelled to provide evidence against herself, not getting the chance to hire a lawyer of her choosing, and protection from unusual punishment. Greater than Harrington and Felty argues King had no authority to hold Goodman, and noted she was never charged with a crime. The bad news: judges are immune from lawsuits related to their conduct in court. The good news: this asshole dragged a girl off and ordered her to strip and change into prison clothes, locked her in an isolated cell, and humiliated her on camera when court wasn't in session and he had no legal authority whatsoever. This is no different than any random person doing this to a student on a field trip. He and the guards that followed his extrajudicial fascism are all liable for this. Fire them, disbar him, bankrupt them, preferably send them to jail. Maybe he can learn a lesson about respect for the law. This girl is going to have the funniest ever story for how she grew up to become a lawyer. Greater than 36th District Court Judge William McConaughey removed King from his docket late last week, saying King would not return until after undergoing training. King will still receive pay during his time away from the bench. A 2023 Michigan legislative analysis states district court judges receive just under $170,000 annually. Damn, that makes it so much worse. The mother and her child are transient.